We're excited to welcome Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas to our broadcast today. You all know her as an entrepreneur, media personality, and writer. She's also the daughter, though, of the legendary godfather of soul, James Brown. She's here to talk to us about a very special event that's kicking off on Monday, February the 19th on A&E. It is James Brown Say It Loud. We're going to talk to her not only about the two-night documentary, but also what it's like for her to be a part of it, to share a part of her father's story, and what she hopes you're able to take away from it as well. Dr. Brown Thomas, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, look, of course, we in the South, love James Brown, and, of course, he's loved around the world. As I mentioned, this two-night event is kicking off on Monday, February the 19th. What has it been like for you and Dr. Brown Thomas to be able to see the early response to it?
Well, people are really, really, really liking it. Those that have already seen it in the media so that they can talk about it have already said that, wow, this is so intense. And, want to go back and just watch it a couple more times because you can't get it all at one time. Birthing of James Brown to this new generation, to be able to learn about him. And for those of us that known him and love him over the years, will be able to see never-before-seen archival footage, audio, and hear never-before-heard stories from different family and friends.
I've been following you, of course, on social for a while, Dr. Brown Thomas, and for those who are not following her on Instagram, you guys can find her at James Brown Daughter. But one thing I love is that you're able to not only, of course, share your own history and how you've been able to be a trailblazer, but also, of course, continue to be able to share your father's story. You just said something really important, though. What has it been like for you to see how new generations are realizing the impact your father's had, not only on music, but also on culture?
Definitely on culture, through the messages in his music. When George Floyd was assassinated, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud was on the playlist of some of everybody, black, white, just people from all over the world, and especially a younger generation. So to be able to see the culture, listen to his messages and adopt them and live them, and share them, is great. You see them saying, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. You see it on the T-shirts. You see it, how they may wear their hair and just how they live because they're reading this history and these messages that my dad left. Don't be a dropout, or I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door. Get it myself. So not just being the most famous, they'll move the needle in the culture.
I mentioned your own impact. Talk to us about that because, you have been able to, I know I saw even during the pandemic, Dr. Brown Thomas, one of the things that you had done an interview and you were talking about the lessons of COVID. And one of the things you said that is so important, I think, for all of us is one of the lessons that you've learned is the importance of self-care. Talk to us about that because you've been able to have people look at you, look at your example, your accomplishments. What has that been like for you to share messages like that to remind us not to forget about ourselves?
You're absolutely right because let me tell you something. I was on a trip with my dad one time. We was in Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles, and we were riding down the street somewhere, and we were in the long stretch limousine, and he had the limousine driver stop the car. He said, stop the car. So he said, come on, Deanna, I want to show you something. So I jumped out the car, security guards stripping because they're like, what is he doing? We're walking across the street. And across the street, we're headed towards a large amount of homeless people who were laid out on the ground and, laying on the dirty cardboard, whatever they were on. And you could see their faces. They were thought they were seeing a ghost by watching my dad come across the street. And one young man he walked up to, and he gave him money and everything. And he said, listen, young man, take this money. Clean yourself up. Get something to eat. Go do something for yourself. That right there, it wasn't about the money. It was about the hope that he was giving that young man. But it's also showing us how important it is that if we don't take care of self, we certainly can't go out and be a service to no one else. So for me, going through all of that I had, and I had to learn now. It's not something that I just woke up one morning and say, well, I got self-care. I had to go through some stuff. I had to have some stress and deal with a lot of stuff after losing my father. I have a husband, and we have businesses. I have a son, and so we have family stuff. But we had a lot to deal with. So I realized that in going through all of this, I still have to be Deanna. I still have to have self-care, and I encourage that to anybody because if you lose yourself, you've lost it all.
Such a great thing. And so with that being said, as people are getting ready to watch James Brown Say It Loud, do you hope that they take those messages, just like you have those memories, Dr. Brown Thomas, of things he taught you, that outside the music they're able to take those lessons away from how he lived his life?
And apply them. Listen to them and apply them, because it works. It will work. You know, you put a lot of work in, you put a hard work in, and believe in yourself. You know, you may get a bunch of no's. He got a bunch of no's. You know, he got a bunch of no's in a lot of different ways. You may get a bunch of no's. You will get a bunch. Stay in it. Stay on the good foot. Stay in faith. Don't give up. Keep going, because you will come to a point where all of what you did will pay off. And I learned that through my dad. I mean, he went through a lot, and he wasn't even educated, you know. But the gift that God gave him, he continued to use and continued to give. So use what God gave you. Stay focused and ignore these life's distractions and stay on the good foot.
Well, look, I'm excited about the two-part documentary. Again, everyone, James Brown Say It Loud is premiering on Monday, February the 19th on A&E. We have the privilege right now speaking with Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas, of course, his daughter, but also she's a media personality, entrepreneur, writer in her own right as well, sharing with us not only, of course, some of the reflections about her father, but also why you should be watching this, too. If you don't mind, Dr. Brown Thomas, let our audience know how to stay connected with you.
Well, they can Google James Brown Family Foundation. I'm really easy to find on Instagram because I use what everybody calls me as my username. My username is James Brown Daughter. Okay? So I use that, you know, make it real easy for people to find me.
And we'll make sure that we link that up, too. Again, thank you so much again for stopping by. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you, and I know that you will enjoy Monday and Tuesday night.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.